April 18th, 2023, and the world still exists. And I'm excited to be part of this world. So I just thought this is a day to discuss things going on in music. I have themes I often follow where I play a bit of a song or I discuss the lyrics of a song or one hit wonders. So, this is the type of thing I do from time to time. I'm just tweeting out my existence to Twitter, and then from there, we'll get into a few things. Okay, and then here we go. Okay, and I'm ready to roll. Now, one thing I have to say, I'm trying to figure out which is the best way to approach shows like the ones that I do every 3, 4 weeks. The polished Michael Nolan style, where you sound like a very organized, slick, great background, and production and things are smooth and really professional. I would love to do something like that. It just turns out that I'm more of a wing it guy. I do have a radio background, so I'm capable of doing a slick show, but maybe it's just a matter of I do a more natural output, a little organized, but not super organized. So that's just an explanation of the way I do shows. So what's going on now? Everybody seems to be talking about it, but I guess I'll throw in a few comments. This Mick Mars thing is blowing up. He's been touring and for many years with Motley Crue. Before that, he was in another band, and I think I forget the name of the band. But the news part of it is currently uh, it's sort of like the Styx Journey issue, where the band comes to one guy who's a big, important guy, and says, "Well, we're going on tour. Get ready." And Mick Mars said, "Well, you know, I'm 71. I'm the older guy. I've held the band together. I've played all the guitars. I've done some writing. And no, I don't want to tour." It's like, you know, he said, "I'm in the band still. And, there's no problems with that. But I don't want to go on tour right now or maybe never." So they said, "Okay, that's pretty much the end of you." But there was a little something that was, I assume, written down about the fact that every original member, if they not there anymore, they get 25% of the money that's produced. So it sounds like that means records, downloads, I'm assuming, and live shows. So maybe his issue was he thought he was going to be entitled to the 25% of a tour money since he probably owns the name Motley Crue with the other three. But no, they came back at him with, well, you're not playing that great anymore. We kind of can get around you a bit. So here you're going to get your 5% ongoing from the revenue. Now, there's nothing wrong with him leaving the band. He's been there since 1980. Uh, if he really doesn't want to be a part of the touring band, they kind of could keep him in the financial loop. But they're money hungry. Nothing wrong with that. They love money. They're talented guys. So they hired John Five, who's a celebrated guitarist that I can't remember all his credentials, but he's one of these guys. He kind of has like kind of mysterious makeup sometimes. I've seen in a few videos. Anyway, I don't remember who he's played with. He's obviously well known in the metal world or heavy rock world. So he's going to be the one replacing Mick Mars. But the funny thing about this whole thing, I I always knew that this BS contract that they'd have to cough up money if they went back on the road because they agreed a few years ago to stop touring. So I always said, I mean, these guys, they could stop touring. They could, hey, look, I don't work and I don't even have 1% of the money that these guys have. And I'm raising two kids and nobody's working in this house. My wife's not working. Uh and I'm barely hanging on. So these guys have probably 50, 80, 150 million dollars each, I'm guessing. And they don't want to stop working. So wow, it's just phenomenal, the drive, and of course the accusations of the backing tracks. Hey, I saw Mitch Lafont, who's a great metal rock podcaster who now has a Twitter handle that says former podcaster. Uh, Obviously, I don't know Mitch at all. I just see him pop on Twitter here and there, and he's been mentioned by Eddie Trunk and other things. So he has some obviously prominence in the music world. He's from Montreal. He had a COVID problem. Anyway, he tweeted out this week that Shinedown is unbelievably great live, or something to that effect. That Shinedown is, a great live band. So I've heard a lot of stuff about them, and there's articles about the backing tracks that they're using. Look, it goes on. We never know who's using it and to what extent. So he didn't angrily reply, but he did reply, and I like attention, so anybody replying is always interesting. He kind of said that's the biz now. Everybody's using backing tracks, and let's face it, my musical knowledge is probably around the same as his, but obviously he's a lot more connected to the industry than I am. I'm not connected at all. I'm a basement guy that knows a lot about music, but has never had any success in the business or even gotten close like he has. He's interviewed everyone. So that was nice. Then I asked him, "Are you going to go see Wasp?" And his reply was no, because Wasp is coming to Montreal, and I probably will go. My problem is to see Wasp in September 3rd is amongst two other shows that I'm going to see all in August, which are Lionel Richie and then Rod Stewart. So, I mean, I'm going to have to trek out for a third show in 3 weeks amidst dentist appointments, my kid's birthday. It's going to be like a very hectic time if I do go to Wasp and add that to my outings for the 3 week period. So, but they're kind of a legendary band, barely got any airplay, Wasp. So I've always thought they were kind of interesting. Back when there was a big to do about Wasp, the Showm probably played them at 3 in the morning or not at all. Maybe they just barely played them. And there was no YouTube to sample their music back then. And I didn't go buy records on spec just because I heard of the band usually. Maybe I did that 5 times in my life. So I never really knew their music that well, but they're coming. So I'm kind of tempted to add them to my concert list to see. $66 for for like GA, general admission at M Telus, which used to be Metropolis. And, Blackie Lawless, you're quite a fascinating guy. You've been in other bands and before Wasp, but $435 to meet you. Sorry, I've met bigger rock stars than Blackie Lawless, and I've never paid one thin dime for a meet and greet in my life. And I've met quite a few rock stars. So my days of hanging out outside venues waiting for a shot at a rock star are over because I'm pretty much not the age that wants to stay up till 1:30 in the morning. Because you got to wait 1.5, 2 hours for these guys to come out. And the last time I tried to meet one of these guys at the same venue that Wasp was playing was the band Simple Minds, and they had a little fenced up system where the band flew out of the back door, the fences were up, and they went right to the bus, and the door was closed. So I'm pretty sure they're going to do that for all bands now, and meeting them is kind of like harder than it used to be. Anyway, let's see what's going on. Just branch and blanch over a few things out there in music. uh Ian Hunter's got a new album out. I did see Ian Hunter, and he was with the Ringo All Stars, and he was obviously known for writing a hit song, "Ships," for Barry Manilow covered. And also he was in Motley Crue, and he toured with Mick Ronson, so he's a legendary guy. I'm not going to get into the actual review, but it's in the news. Some things that I'm looking at are not that exciting. Somebody in Neil Peart turned down a song from Godsmack. It's not that interesting. Soundgarden. Chris Cornell's songs are going to be released by Soundgarden. Um, I once read that this is kind of connected to some issues with his widow. Maybe they delayed this a bit because there were some arguments. Here it says band has settled years-long legal dispute with late singer's widow. So I had heard about this before, about this dispute. Obviously, the money had to be carved up the way she wanted it, and they had to agree to it. I don't really get too excited to hear that story, but they'll come out with some songs. That's all right. Now, here's a guy, he's going out on tour. Eric Clapton, 2023 Crossroads Guitar Festival lineup. 2-day concert with Roger McGuinn from The Byrds, Sheryl Crow. I'm curious about her. ZZ Top, and dozens more. Let me see if there's more details. Let's see who else is going on. The Seventh Benefits concerts. Santana, Robbie Robinson, Stephen Stills, Sheryl Crow, Gary Clark Jr. But wherever they're going, it's nowhere near here. And I can't deal with long festivals anyway. So I'm 100% sure I'm not going to go to one of these drawn out multiple band singers things. Now I see Sting's adding dates to his tour. Canada. I wonder if he's coming to Montreal. Let's take a look. Now, it's a funny thing. I like Sting solo, and I love the Police. I saw them in 1979 and 1981. But I also like his solo stuff, and of course, he's going to be doing some of this Police stuff. But I've never seen him on his own. But I've also figured, yeah, the man has good solo songs too, but for some reason, I just never run out to see him solo. But let's see in my neck of towns. Oh, I see he's dipping into Canada, but the West. So we're talking Vancouver. Well, certainly Toronto. Let's see. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't see Montreal on this list. So that is that. Good for him. Hmm. Some statue about ACDC. I don't really. Brian Johnson's doesn't excite me. Bruce Springsteen Day declared in New Jersey. Look, never gonna say the man's not worthy of all of this. I did see him live, but I don't know. Is it that exciting that the statue's coming up? Not really in my case. I don't really care. Just a statue, but I'm trying to keep my legions of fans informed about all of these kind of current things. Now, here's a guy we never stop discussing. Roger Waters going to Frankfurt. Legal dispute. Injunction status in doubt after the anti Semite argument. Now, look, musically, he's who he is. I don't have to talk about it. We all know. But he's so pro Palestine that that's his thing. I mean, I don't really care if he's not a fan of the Jews' treatment of Palestine. It's okay. It's whatever he wants. It's not my business. I don't care. Nazi attacks on Jews. I'm trying to see if there's anything exciting about this. He's talking about Palestine again, and I'm not going to get into this. You know. Hmm. Roger Waters show update. I don't know. You know what? The man's been around since beginning of that kind of music, so not much I care about with his Jewish stance. Stuart Copeland, he's not going to be a part of a police reunion. Not that I heard that there was going to be one. They say we get along great as long as we don't have to share a studio or a stage. Well, he would know. He would know, right? So none of them listen. They did a beautiful tour, 2009. They got back together reunion. I didn't go because they haven't. They actually had about 6 or 7 hits since I saw them in '81. So I could have got to hear the songs that they did, like on Synchronicity live, but I kind of, I just didn't go. It's not the end of the world. Um, but I don't care if they tour or not, really. Joe Elliott biopic. He's got an opinion about that. Joe Elliott and the Problem. Singer believes band film would be overshadowed by Rick Allen's car wreck. Yeah, well, sure. Look, tragedy is what draws people into everything. Being a downer is more popular than being a positive person. So the fact that people would be thrilled to hear about, the two tragedies. Let me see. I'm going to give you a few more. Let's see how long this marathon has been. 18 and change. So Nirvana X recalls heartbreak over being fired from Soundgarden. Does this really matter to me? Jason Everman had already been kicked out of Kurt Cobain's band. I never heard of him. Maybe he's a drummer. Let's see if there's anything that more depth. Jason Everson fired from Chris Cornell's band. Former Nirvana and singer member. I'm sorry, but this is nothing exciting. He was in Nirvana as a second guitarist in the old days, and he had a bit of drama. Okay, that's not too thrilling. Stuart Copeland, new police deranged. Nah, I'm not gonna care. I don't care about rearranging police songs into classic tracks. Orchestral arrangements, not good for them. How upon the Derelicts? Okay, a punk supergroup joined forces for a TV series theme song. Now let's see. It's Clem Burke. He was in Blondie. Glenn Matlock was in the Sex Pistols. Richard Lloyd. I can't remember for sure. Ivan Julian. No. Let's see if there's anything thrilling to see here. Well, Klemberg was a television. Okay, Tom Verlaine just passed out from that group, and Ivan Julian was from Richard Hell and the Voidoids. So they're doing something. Let's face it, when you've been part of bands that you're no longer a part of, I don't know everybody's financial situation, but the money stops pouring in like 35 years ago. So you got to do what you can to keep yourself going. Nah, new releases. Let's see if there's anything thrilling. Neil Sean. The guy blocked me on Twitter. Fuck you, Neil Sean. Yes. What is that about? Some 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 old tracks being take. Um, I don't know. There's nothing magical about this. Chris. Who, okay, what's this? Wingers. They have a new album. These are kind of people that are they're not in style anymore, which is not an insult to them at all. It's just that they're re-releasing old songs. That's all. You know, there's a lot more things I can discuss, but I'm gonna limit it to a 20-minute, 22 minutes type of thing. I'm gonna say hi, everybody, to my to all the people tuning in right now. I'll end it with this discussion. There's a lot of big shows coming to Montreal, and I listed earlier the shows I'm going to see. Richie, I'm going because he's been around for over 50 years and he has had good songs. And I'm not just a metal hard rock guy. I like good melodies. I like good voices. I like good songs. So he's worth it. Rod Stewart, getting old, running out of time. His touring will end within a year or two. So I saw him in 1988, so I'll get him see him one more time. It's kind of interesting to think about going to see a band like April Wine. They're coming up in June. I've seen them 5 times. I've met them. I can guarantee you the only original guy is Miles Goodwin because obviously if he leaves, you're dealing with 100% replacements. So you can't take guys that they hired in 2009 and think you're seeing April Wine. It's like there has to be some kind of connection to the glory days, even if it's a guy that showed up in the early 90s or late 80s. You still got to consider that a vintage lineup. So that would make me tempted to go again, but I've seen them 5 times. If the money, it's not a lot of money. It's in a club that's not that big, Corona. So I'm on the fence, but if I just went to all these concerts that are tempting, I'd be banging out 7, 8 grand a year. I'm not going to Kiss. Any barely decent seat is 260 plus fees. So you're talking pretty much $300. I mean, if you want to lay out 100 and sit in the top level and the furthest away, I've sat there for Kiss, and within 3 songs, I moved down and got a great view. So I'm not going to bother to pay $100 to sit in the worst seats in the building in the Bell Center. So I'll end it right here. It's my semi-professional effort to be a broadcaster about music. It gives me something to do. Thanks, Ken TV, for asking me on his sports show a few times. I've been enjoying it, even though I'm not a sports expert. And the other two or three guys are. I still add some comic relief and some tidbit ad libs. Okay, Eddie G's Music World, April 18th, 2023, signing out in a professional manner. Hello, it's me, Howard Stern. Rock on. Okay, bye bye.